What's up, metalheads? Welcome back to Metalman X Builds, and today we got a real special treat for you, the Dayban 8816 Estrella. Now this was gratefully given to us by Gundam Kingdom, so make sure to check them out at GundamKingdom.com or get a hold of them through Facebook or telephone to get all of your Gunpla needs. So I'm just gonna throw this out here. This was a fantastic build. I love this kit. There's so much that you get with this kit that I took the extra time to put in LEDs and do panel lining and custom paint on this. So getting into the kit itself, the main body of the kit is fantastically put together. No issues whatsoever that weren't caused by me modifying the kit. So really solid body on this kit, and it looks fantastic. The white color scheme on this really pops once you do panel lining, and a little bit of accent color just using some hand paints really brings everything out. So as you can see, this kit comes with a ton of accessories that you can mix and match. It also comes with a lot of extra parts. I went for what was pretty much in the diagrams of the manual, but there really are just a numerous amount of different ways that you can customize this kit just straight out of the box. For example, the back flap, butt flap right there, it comes in the standard loadout right there with the beam sabers. But also, if you're going to be using a lot of the shields, it does come with another loadout that has little attachment points, little 3mm, so you can just put it together like that. It just pops right in, and so you get different looks based on what you're trying to do, and that will attach one of the shields to it. You also have this other loadout right here, which kind of gives it a long, traditional kind of Gundam butt flap. So you are getting a lot of bang for your buck in this kit. With all the praises I'm about to shower on this kit, there were a few things that really drove me nuts. Most notably, the little plastic pieces that go in for the GN cables. Tip on the Bandai version, these are fairly easy to remove, but on the Dayban version, it was a complete chore to get these out. I had to cut them out and with my nippers and really reshape all of it. And so that's one area that I would say you are going to be frustrated with, but luckily on the base kit you're only going to be using about 8 of these, excuse me. And so just be aware though that these are probably going to drive you absolutely insane. So take your time with this part, because they, even though they're hard to get out, they're easy to rip. They do come with some foil lined stickers on the back you can put in to really make it shine, especially if you're not going to be doing LED work on them. Another issue I ran into that was really frustrating was I did have some molding issues from the factory. They're specifically on the shields. You'll see where I've had to modify one shield on each side because the plastic didn't mold in that piece fully. So I had to take it and redo it myself. I'm not sure what happened there. I'm not going to hold it against the kit because this could just be mine, but that's something to take into account for when you purchase yours. I have heard of a few people having this issue, but not everybody, so I'm not going to hold it against the kit itself. Other than that, there weren't really any big fitting issues or anything like that. Honestly, if you would have told me this is a Bandai kit, I would have believed you because it is so well done. So the shields are kind of one of the major features of this kit. You have 8 different shields. They all have opening gimmicks on them that you can use, and sliding gimmicks, and they really are pretty cool. Another cool accessory that you get are these swords, arm swords, GN swords. Well, they're not really GN swords, but they attach to the arms using this little bracket, which is actually pretty neat and makes it where you can still have the open hands if you want to for final posing. Next up on the accessories list, we have this giant pair of swords, and actually they are 4 swords in one for each, so 8 total more swords. They're like giant boomerangs, and they can actually be attached using a 3mm hole up at the top. But anyway, so these can break in half by pulling it apart there. So now you have 2 swords, and then you can open them up and pull out 1 more, and then another, for a total of 4 swords per giant boomerang sword. I've usually not been a big fan of oversized weapons for Gundam, but I do kind of like these because when you put them on, they can kind of function like they're giant wing units, and I kind of like it. The only real issue with these is the nub placement. We do end up with some nub marks on the edge of the blades. So be aware, you may have to do some painting. I found titanium, silver, and aluminum were pretty good color matches. Chrome, not so much. So focus on something like titanium or aluminum. Next up, accessory-wise, we have these little beam sabers. You have a couple beam daggers that you get, as well as some pretty big, really good-looking plastic beam swords. These were actually able to be sanded and to get rid of the nub marks, which was really cool because you usually can't do it, because it's kind of a softer plastic than we normally see with a Bandai kit. And these came out really good. Now, these are not in the manual. Next up on accessories, we have this kind of mace thing. It can go in the hand, but it doesn't really give much to what it does in the manual. It does come with this wire, but I didn't see any way to attach it. So I don't know if it is something that I'm just not familiar with because I'm not really familiar with the lore of this kit, or if it is something that is just meant to be on that little handle. But it does look pretty good. I like the energy effect style of it. Next up, we have these big old bazookas. Pretty standard, but you get 2 of them, and they do look pretty nice. I mean, the detailing and just color separation from the get-go is really nice on these. And a little bit of love will go a long way. Next up, we have one of my favorite aspects of this kit, and this is kind of debatable by a lot of people, but I love when Gundams and Big Mecha have pistols. So this thing does come with 2 pistols, and those just make me happy every single time I see them. So on the final shots, you'll definitely see it holding a pistol. But those attach into holsters that go on the side of the leg, and they can be used just in regular everyday combat. So these are pretty nice. Next up, kind of going into more detail about those missile pods. Like I said, they do attach onto the side of the arm, but they can also be handheld. They do have a handle that allows them to do that. They do have this opening gimmick that I don't think was fully realized because it doesn't push everything out of the way. I think also the looseness of those flaps really do hamper that opening gimmick as well. But overall, I'm always a fan of missile pods on a Gunpla. They always look pretty cool. Next up, we have 2 GN rifles. I do like how these look. I'm Still a little confused on them, how they attach into the arms. I'll have to play around with that a bit. But these things do look fantastic. They are a little bit tough to get in the hands, I'll be completely honest, because the pegs in the hands don't fully line up, so you may have to drill these out a little bit to get them to fit right and to stay in place. But the overall design of them are very, very good. I like the railgun kind of design for energy weapons. Next up, we have your standard kind of beam rifle. This also attaches into the armhole and in the hand. It can also attach to the side skirt on the hips. So this thing does look really nice. Once again, I'm really impressed with the color separation. They could have done a bit better with some of the mold lines, but it does look good overall. I like the colors on it. I think they did a really good job with this kit, even with the weapons, because a lot of times what you'll see is a lot of detail in it, but less attention put on the weapons themselves using kind of just grayish plastic. Day-Band did a really good job here of keeping metal parts looking metal and using dark gunmetal gray colors as well as your typical gray. So it does work out, and like I said, with a little bit of love, this kit really, really shines. So now on to my final thoughts about this kit. I mean, honestly, it is a must-buy, but going by my traditional grading score, for appearance, I mean, just a little bit of panel lining is going to go a massive amount on this kit, and so I'm going to give it a 95. The ease of build, really great. I'm going to knock it just a little bit because of those pesky little plastic pieces, so I'm going to give it a 90. And for the quality of the build, how long it's going to hold up over time, this thing feels so solid. I'm going to give it another 95, which brings our review total 93%. So yeah, this is a must-buy kit if you get a hold of it. Yeah, I did have some issues with the molding, but I don't know if that is just one that I got or if it's a widespread issue, which I've heard it isn't. So thank you again to Gundam Kingdom. Check them out, GundamKingdom.com, or on Facebook, or give them a call if you're local. And yeah, I'll see you next time on the next third-party throwdown here on Metal Man X Builds.